update on the two yellow jersey players today?
Yeah, they're closer to playing for sure. Anytime, I've said this before, when you see guys joining practice, they're a lot closer. So it's good news.
26 days since your last game here in this building. Is the trick not to try and do too much and put on too much of a show tonight?
Yeah, I don't think that's the mindset of putting on a show. So, yeah, it's good to be back home, but we got to go out and play our game.
In your experience, that's a long road trip. What is the difference in the feeling of just being back and knowing you're going to have a bit of a stretch here?
Yeah, it is long. There's no, I don't know if I've ever had 9 games in a row on the road, but it's definitely a good feeling for guys to get home. But the NHL, there's a lot of teams that have certain parts of the year that are tough schedules. You make it up somewhere down the line usually, and we will toward the end of the year.
Is there a feeling of excitement in the locker room right now?
Of
being home?
Yeah, I think, guys aren't running around all excited because we're back in, but it's a good feeling to be in your building, to sleep in your own bed, but also understanding that you got a game to play, and there's a certain process that goes into winning hockey games. You just don't win because you're back home.
How quickly do you think Artem Zub has been reacclimated to the speed of this game after being injured?
It's coming, yeah. I thought his last game was, he looked more like the Zub that I envisioned. I still haven't personally seen Zub, I don't think, quite at the top of his game just because of the injuries, and I think we've started to see a glimpse of it before he got hurt last time, and I thought last game was a big step for him. He looked really good in Detroit.
If you look at the standing, there's probably 7 or 8 teams that can pretend to the last 2 playoff spots.
Right.
At the middle of the season, do you remember when it was that close and so many teams were involved in the race?
I can't. I don't know if I can or can't, to be honest. I think as coaches, you hear it a lot. We worry about the things we can control, and I'm not too worried about what's happened in the past, or you just face reality. The truth is that there's a lot of teams in the mix, and it's going to probably be that way for a while.
What have you seen from Buffalo, your pre-scout? What does it tell you?
Yeah, they found their game. Obviously, they went through a tough stretch, which I think you've seen that a lot in the NHL this year, where teams kind of get streaky and they're fighting their way back, trying to fight their way back into it.
How would you evaluate Josh Norris's game today?
Yeah, he's been a little snake bitten for sure. We've moved, but I think you can say that about a lot of our guys. And I think the one thing about Josh is he always gives an honest effort. He's reliable. I feel confident putting him on the ice at any moment of the game. And that's the one thing that I don't think has slipped in his game. So the offense will come, but you could probably say that about a few guys.
The D being tested a little bit as well over a recent stretch. Just what have you liked from Matt and Powell specifically last game?
Yeah, that's one game. I liked his mini game. I thought last game he probably wasn't quite as sharp. Played a quick team, but I'm hoping and expecting that his game will gradually improve from game to game. But he's a big guy that closes well. He's got good feet, long range, which big defensemen that can move are valuable.
What do you think you guys can do to maybe generate a bit more offense?
That's a good question. We've talked a lot about offense, and it's no secret that we haven't scored as much as we'd like. And sometimes there's confidence that plays into it. Sometimes it's a bounce. Sometimes it's going to the net a little harder. There's when you defend, there's certain parts of the game that are black and white. Offense is obviously not black and white, and there's certain concepts that we talk about as coaches. But then the puck has to cross the line, and guys got to also execute and play their best hockey as well.
When you think about your first game against Buffalo back at the beginning of November, how do you think you guys have improved and maybe taken a step maturity-wise since then?
I think our game's improved. I don't think we played. Well, I know we didn't play very well, and give Buffalo credit that game. They played an extremely strong game, I thought, and they deserved the win.
Any New Year's resolutions?
None that I'm going to share.
So excited to be back here at the entire center, playing in front of your own fans. Yeah, obviously it's been a long road trip, and just to get back in front of the fans, we're all super excited and just pumped to play tonight.
Oftentimes we say that the first home game after a long road trip is pretty tough. Is this just a media thing? Is this real? What is your experience with those kind of games?
Yeah, I think that's just kind of a media thing. That's I don't think we think about that too much, and just another game tonight, but just having home fans behind our back, so we're excited.
Shane, how would you describe the last, 26 days? Like, did it feel like it was a long road trip?
I think Christmas kind of broke it up a little bit with that break, that 3-day break. So, I mean, at the end of it, though, it felt pretty long. I think, Seattle felt like a long time ago, and we've been on the road since then. So, it's been pretty long, but I think that Christmas break definitely helped a little bit, though.
Is the trick not to try to do too much tonight?
Yeah, I think it's just kind of have that blue-collar mentality tonight, work hard, and kind of check for our chances, kind of like I think that's how we win games. I think that's our identity now, and I think that's going to be important tonight. So try to not get into a run and gun match with them and just kind of play a simple game.
Thomas,
Play a good road game.
Yeah. We got the white Jays on, so. Yeah.
Thomas mentioned that when you guys played Buffalo last, it just wasn't a good start for your team. What do you remember about that game that you'd like to improve?
Yeah, I think it's just that's just all mental. I think. Tough starts is just not being kind of focused. I think that's kind of maturity-wise, and I think we've matured a lot over these last couple of weeks. And that's just being ready to go. And I think we'll be pumped up with the fans and first game back at home. So I don't think there's much to worry about there.
Is there a message in the team room just talking about, okay, like look how close we are in the standings. This is the kind of push we need to do as you almost enter the second half of the season.
Yeah, I mean, we haven't really talked too much about the stand. I think everyone's going to look at it no matter what. I think that's just human nature. And but we kind of have to focus on one game at a time. I think we're still in and out on the road a little bit here. So either way, each game matters. I think that's the fun part about this stretch here. And just take it one game at a time and just try to win tonight.
Well, I mean, the fact that you're not looking at having to rip off some crazy hot streak to just get back into the fight, like I imagine that does have an impact mentally just in terms of the approach for the group too.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that helps a lot. Try not to force it. I think if we were trying to go on a long winning streak there, it would have been a lot of forcing. And now we just try to play our game, and hopefully the results take care of itself.
Are you a fan of the white symbol?
I would like to be in black tonight, but we don't get a choice.
Enfin, après presque un mois au Centre canadien de Terreur, le fait de jouer devant tes partisans, j'imagine que ça fait du bien d'être de retour à la maison.
Oui, je pense que c'est juste d'être de retour à la maison. Je pense que ça fait du bien à tout le monde. C'est de retourner à la maison, dormir dans ton propre lit, manger à la maison. Fait que non, je pense que ça donne un boost à l'énergie. Tout le monde a régénéré un peu en arrivant à la maison. Puis c'est sûr que oui, ce soir, de revenir sur notre glace à nous devant nos fans. Ça fait longtemps qu'on les a vus, ça fait longtemps qu'ils nous ont vus. Fait que l'énergie devrait être le fun dans l'aréna.
Comment revenir à vos bonnes vieilles habitudes au mois de décembre? Vous étiez sur une bonne séquence,
Ouais.
vous êtes en mesure de générer des occasions de marquer et des buts également. Lors des 6 derniers matchs, c'est un peu plus difficile. Comment vous pouvez revenir dans vos bonnes vieilles habitudes?
Ben, je pense que quand tu regardes le match à Détroit, je pense qu'on a eu des chances. C'est trouver le fond du filet. Je pense que c'est continuer de faire de la même façon. On a joué un bon match, le dernier match à Détroit. C'est dommage de perdre en prolongation, c'est sûr, mais je pense qu'au bout de la ligne, c'est le 9e match qu'on était sur la route contre une équipe que je pense que ça faisait 3-4 games en ligne qui gagnait. Fait que c'est d'amener de l'énergie, c'est d'amener la game qu'on est capable de jouer, c'est de ne pas leur laisser le temps de faire des jeux, de ne pas leur donner le temps d'espace. Puis de nous, de notre côté, c'est un coup qu'on est dans zone offensive, c'est des fois, je pense, c'est d'arrêter d'essayer pour trouver vos jeux parfaits. C'est vraiment des fois d'avoir des gants dans votre filet puis faire un lancer, avoir un greasy goal qu'on les appelle en anglais, sur un retour ou quelque chose du genre. Fait que non, je pense qu'on sait qu'on est là, on sait qu'on a assez de talent pour faire des jeux puis compter des buts, on sait que ça va revenir.
JBD s'est blessé, Amonique s'est blessé. Parle-moi du jeu de Malton Palou, justement, qui est arrivé, qui doit avoir fait du mieux qu'il pouvait.
Oui, je pense que c'est juste la mentalité du prochain gars. Je pense qu'au cours d'une saison, il va y avoir plusieurs blessés. Puis je pense que quand tu regardes Mathieu qui est rentré dans l'alignement, il fait très bien son rôle. Je pense qu'il arrive, il joue une très belle game solide. On a Max Guénette aussi qui est là, que je sais que s'il rentre dans le line-up, va faire un job extraordinaire lui aussi. Non, on a assez de talent. On a des gars qui sont capables de rentrer dans les rôles. On n'est pas la seule équipe à passer au travers de des blessures. Puis ça sera pas la dernière fois. Fait que je pense que c'est le fun de voir des gars arriver dans l'alignement et faire un impact comme ça. Oui.
série pour les 2 derniers rangs dans les dernières années?
Non, je le regarde, le classement, je le regarde. Mais non, je pense que c'est notre division. On savait que au début de la saison, ça allait être une division très compétitive. Puis je pense que tu regardes aussi dans la métro, il y en a aussi des équipes qui ont une très bonne saison jusqu'à maintenant. Fait que non, ça rend l'importance à tous les matchs encore plus. Je pense je sais même pas si on est à moitié de saison, on est proche de la moitié de saison, puis on parle déjà de ça. Fait que je pense que c'est le fun. Je pense que c'est ça que tu veux jouer. On en parle depuis le début de la saison. C'est dans des situations de même que tu vas être en tant que joueur, dans des situations de faire les séries, des situations compétitionnelles chaque soir, que chaque game est extrêmement importante. Fait que non, c'est le fun. C'est un match contre Buffalo à soir, un match comme le dernier à Détroit. C'est une équipe de division. C'est des matchs à 2 points, mais en réalité à 4 points. Je pense que c'est des matchs comme ça que tu veux gagner. On a échappé le premier de cette année contre Buffalo, fait qu'on veut rattraper ça à soir.
Êtes-vous satisfait des circonstances de votre voyage un peu? Vous revenez à peu près sur une fiche de 500,
ouais.
Mais un mois sur la route, c'est plus tendu que les vacances de Noël.
Oui, c'était pas l'horaire la plus formidable. Je pense que le break de Noël, puis aussi de revenir, puis match back-à-back Winnipeg, Minnesota, avec 4 jours de congé, puis un autre back-à-back Dallas, Saint-Louis. Mais je pense qu'il faut que tu trouves du positif de ça. Je pense que si tu regardes la saison, l'impression qu'on avait vraiment eu de la difficulté dans le voyage dans l'Ouest. Cette année, je pense qu'on a trouvé une façon d'aller chercher des gros points, des gros moments. Je pense que certains matchs, veut pas qu'on aurait souhaité que ça aille mieux, c'est sûr. Mais je pense qu'au travers d'une saison, ça va arriver plus qu'une fois. Puis, tu sais, au bout de la ligne, on a fait un road trip de quoi, un mois, quasiment jour pour jour. Puis on sort de là à 500. Fait que je pense que tu peux pas être, tu peux pas être négatif, tu peux pas t'acharner trop même sur nous-mêmes. C'est qu'au bout de la ligne, on a accompli un bon voyage, puis on a accompli ce qu'on voulait faire. Yeah.
Did it feel that long when you guys were on the
Oh yeah, it was long. It was long. Obviously, the Christmas break was nice, but it's one of those that everybody kind of goes home and it's seeing family, it's everything. So going back on the road, it was definitely a long one, and I think all of us are just very happy to be back home now.
Yeah, now that you guys are home, reflecting on how things went, 4-4-1, are you happy? And where do you guys want to go from here?
I mean, at the end of the day, there's always games that we're looking back on thinking we wish we would have done better. But, I mean, when you look at the bigger picture throughout the entire season, you got to be happy with a 500 road trip, especially with the schedule we had with the back-to-back games. They were not easy matchups. So, and even before Christmas, the travel and that road trip was a little bit crazy a little bit. So, I mean, at the end of the day, you got to look at the whole thing together, and you got to be happy with a 500 road trip.
26 days between games here at Canadian Tire Center. Is the trick tonight to get as good a road game as possible?
Yeah, pretty much. It almost feels like it. No, I mean, it's just going back home, sleeping in your own bed, being at home, cooking a meal. I think just gave everybody a little bit more energy, just happy being here. And obviously looking back on our fans haven't seen us in a while. We haven't seen them in a while. And obviously the energy is going to be fun in the building tonight. So we're gonna come out ready to play and try to bring the fans along with us.
The fact that this deep into the year, you're not looking at some crazy run you have to get on to get back in the mix. I just wonder what that means for the group's approach and just feel coming to the race.
I mean, it's good. It's good. That's the position we wanted to be in. And, you know, you look at the standings, everybody's so tight, everything's so close, and there's not a lot of breathing room out there, but that's what you want. I mean, you want every game to matter. You want every point that you can get throughout the rest of the season. So, no, it's fun. I think we're exactly where we're at. We're focusing on what we have to do, and we thought last 2 games weren't the way we liked the way we were playing, and we went back in Detroit and played a really solid road game, and to get a big point against them, obviously it's good, especially against division opponents. And obviously tonight's the same thing. We dropped the first one this year against Buffalo, so we're looking to get this one going tonight.
You find yourself looking at the standings a lot and keeping an eye on where things are at?
I wouldn't say a lot, but obviously I think you just do. Generally, you win a game or you lose a game, you kind of look at it the next morning. But I mean, there's a lot of hockey to be played. There's so many games, so many things can happen throughout the season. So the way you look at it, it's honestly it's game by game and try to win every game that you go out there.
Thomas, you scored recently too. How important important? Is it to get some of that scoring from other areas besides just the top line or whoever?
Yeah, I mean, it's big, especially I think for us as D's. We have a lot of guys that like to get involved in the rush and make some plays, and it's definitely something that we've been looking at and adding more. And obviously, it's always fun to find the back of the net, but I think it's finding ways to, like you said, to produce from different areas, from the whole lineup up front or the whole lineup with the D's involved. So, well, you know what? At the end of the day, it's we have a lot of skills, we have a lot of talent, we have. We're all aware of that, but I think at times when we spend a lot of time in their ozone, it's about maybe making the simple plays of just getting some shots and getting some traffic in front and kind of getting some greasy goals, but instead of always looking for maybe an extra pass at times that we might tend to do. But you know what? I know I'm not too worried about that. I know we're going to get that rolling again.
And when you guys played Buffalo at the beginning of November, it was that unfortunate loss. What do you remember from that game, and how do you guys think you've changed as a team since then?
I mean, we weren't playing the way we are playing right now, that's for sure. And I remember that game, we just didn't really come out good. And I mean, they're a talented team. They have a lot of skills. They have a similar kind of team as we do, young guys, a lot of younger guys. So it's going to be on us. We're excited to be back home. It's going to be on us to bring the energy right from puck drop.